What's up, guys? This is Jermaine. Welcome back to my channel, The 91 Box. And we're going to touch on something very positive, very light, a testimony from a young woman. Her YouTube channel is Aaron Brought a Book. And from time to time, I'm going to highlight some good things that are happening in the world. And this girl's, woman, she's a woman, but this woman's testimony, we say girls like interchangeable. She went from agnostic to Christian. So I want to play a little bit of her testimony, and I'll put the full video in the description below so you guys can go to her channel and just watch and see how she processed through her journey from agnostic to Christian. But we're going to start at the 27 minute and 2 second mark. All right, guys, let's get into it.
That just makes sense to me. It makes sense that, of course, he would do it like that. He wouldn't reveal himself to one person in a cave or to one dude with a tablet. It would be through this process that could have only been coordinated by the hand of God. And it's a love story. And the process of that revelation, both the love story and how God chose to reveal it, how God chose to write it, I just had such a sense of deep admiration and respect for a God who would do that. And I became curious enough to actually try reading it for myself for real. This wasn't just reading the Bible here and there. It wasn't just a culture or expectations that were being placed on me. It wasn't like reading the Bible for homework, for youth group. It was like an internal free will decision to investigate it for myself. I say that was the turning point because that was what ultimately caused me to pick up the Bible. And then once God got me reading the Bible, he started working fast, okay? So here's what happened. I had this 1-year Bible that had been sitting in the trunk of my car for like 5 years. This one right here. And this was great to me because when I decided to start reading the Bible, my like perfectionistic process-oriented side kicked in, and I was like, okay, well, where do I start? How much should I read? Like, how long should I read it for? This made it really easy because it breaks the whole Bible down into daily readings with a reading from the Old Testament, a reading from the New Testament, a reading from Proverbs, and from Psalms.
So you see who we have here. She talked about God working on her mind and her heart, and something that is very low in America, biblical literacy. Because earlier in the video, she kind of mentions where she didn't really read the Bible for herself. But look what happens when you actually read the Bible and you take it for what it is. Things start to happen. You want to know what? She got a new subscriber. I just subscribed to her channel. I'll be following her journey here and there on this. I recently just found out about her. So let's continue.
I just decided to flip to that day, and it was the parable of the seeds in Matthew. And I read it slowly. I was taking notes, really trying to understand it, trying to break it down. And as I went, I realized it was a parable about what I had just decided to do, which was to try reading and understanding the Bible. And this parable is about how that's the right move. It was like a wink, like God was winking at me, like attaboy. It was also a guide on how to keep going now with confidence that I was reading the Bible right, and a promise that it was going to be worth it.
All right, come with me. I'm going to show you why oats overnight is your new favorite breakfast. It all starts with high quality ingredients.
That was weird because, like, if that had been a coincidence, it was the most weirdly personal coincidence that I possibly could have stumbled upon at that particular moment. It was like I had opened the Bible to read it, to try to judge it for myself if this was actually God. And then the second I do, it feels like it's reading me back. It feels like God is instantly using it to speak personally into the decisions that I'm making to read the Bible. So that got my attention and it encouraged me to keep going. And as I kept reading, that kind of thing literally just kept happening. Like, it was reading me. And I began to notice some like strange, miraculous things in the text that I'd never heard anybody else talking about. Like the anointing of Saul, the first king of Israel. When Samuel anoints Saul as king, he gives him a prophecy. He said, when you leave, you're going to meet these people in this place and they're going to give you this. And then you're going to go to this place and meet these people and they're going to give you this. Again, as a person who's interested in symbolism, I decided to slow down and break down the symbolic significance of these different locations, the different people that Samuel encounters in this prophecy, and the different things that he gains from each of those steps. And I realized that all of the symbolism tells a story that reflects the gospel of Jesus Christ from the Old Testament in a very coded way, in a way that could not have been coordinated by man, like the Jewish priests and scribes who were writing this down for hundreds of years before Jesus came. They didn't know why this particular detail in this prophecy was important or how it would eventually point to Jesus Christ. I never heard anybody talking about that particular thing before. It was just something that I noticed as I was reading the Bible for myself. And then as I kept going, I started to have more of a dialogue with it because I began praying more than I ever had in my life. It started to seem to me like this was God speaking to me and might as well speak back. So I started praying, telling him about what I was struggling with, telling him about what I was going through in my life. And then I would notice a few days after I prayed about something, I would read a story in the Bible that directly spoke to the thing that I had just prayed about.
Okay. So you guys, you've noticed that. I've been asking myself this question in terms of what is defined as a spiritual encounter by God. And I've been a Christian for many years. This year, it makes 17 years since I've been a Christian. So from 17 to 34. So I'll be a Christian longer than I've been a non-Christian. But I've really been asking myself this question of what consists of a spiritual encounter by God? Because I've heard it from people before. If you haven't had a spiritual encounter by God, this is not going to make any sense. You're not going to trust in Jesus. You're not really going to believe the Bible to be true. People make claims, a lot of claims about the Bible, but they haven't read it. I don't think that's a good idea. But I'm starting to think or believe that if God is an infinite being, then there's an infinite number of ways that he can reach unique individuals who are made in his image and likeness. It might seem small or insignificant to one person, but it hits home to that specific person that God is trying to reach. So, excuse me. I know just based off the Bible, supernatural encounters can be, he can appear in front of you right now, supernaturally. He can appear to you in a vision while you're awake. He can appear to you in your dreams. So we know those, or in miracles, those are the obvious general spiritual encounters by God, the Christian God. But other ways, like picking up the Bible and it address the issues in your heart or in your mind or what you're going through, is really interesting. So yeah, guys, that's it for this video. I just wanted to show you guys that the title of the video, this is a Christian channel now, My Testimony. You guys can definitely go check out Erin Brought a Book. Again, her video will be in the description box below. Like this video, share it with somebody, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys will definitely be seeing from time to time highlighting some good things that are happening in the world. All right, peace.